Welcome to Quickcasts from Yoga for First Responders. I'm Eric Brenneman, and in these bite-sized episodes, we'll bring you quick insights and practical tips on the power of yoga, breathwork, mindfulness, and meditation specifically for first responders. Whether you're on a quick break or between calls, we've got a nugget of wisdom to help you stay resilient and focused. Let's dive right in. There's a type of person we reward heavily in public safety. The disciplined one. The one who shows up early, never complains, pushes through, gets it done no matter what. They're dependable, they're respected, and they're often promoted. And most of the time, they are quietly struggling. Because here's something we don't talk about enough. Discipline can hide dysregulation for a very long time. You can be doing everything right and still feel constantly on edge inside your own body. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've been trained in discipline, not regulation. You see, discipline is about control. A control of behavior, control of habits, control of outputs. Regulation, however, is about capacity. Your capacity to shift states emotionally, for example. Your capacity to recover. Ultimately, your capacity to come back to baseline after stress. And here's the mistake that most high performers make. They assume discipline creates regulation. But discipline, in a way, only overrides the nervous system. It doesn't actually teach it how to come back to baseline or how to settle down. So what happens? Well, people become incredibly effective while their system stays stuck in high alert. They function, they lead, they grind. But the cost does show up. It just shows up a little bit later. Dysregulation doesn't always look dramatic. Often, dysregulation looks like feeling tense, even on your days off. Scanning for problems that aren't there, being hypervigilant, never sitting with your back to the door, being exhausted but unable to sleep. When we go out and talk and do in-service trainings all the time, it's I can't sleep like I used to. Unfortunately, we snap faster than we used to. So bad correlation there, right? Feeling flat, numb, instead of fulfilled. And here's the key point. Most disciplined people don't identify with the word dysregulated. They identify as tired or stressed, burned out, maybe just needing a break. I know that sometimes I recognize this in myself if I'm not doing my own work. But breaks don't fix a system that never learned how to downshift. So another word that we hear often is grit. Grit is adaptive. It helps you survive the hard things. It helps you perform under pressure. It keeps you moving forward when stopping isn't an option, which for most of us, that's the reality of the professions we've chosen. But grit is meant to be temporary. When grit becomes permanent, it can turn into that strain that you feel. And the nervous system doesn't interpret grit as strength. It interprets constant pushing as a threat. So it stays online, alert, guarded. And over time, people confuse survival mode with dedication. Think about white knuckle driving, for example. You're gripping the steering wheel hard, your eyes are locked forward, your jaw is tight. You're in control on a technicality, but your body is braced. Now imagine driving like that every day. You'd still get where you're going, but everything inside you would be tense. That's discipline without regulation. It looks fine from the outside, but man, is it exhausting from the inside. When this strain shows up, most people don't get curious. Quite frankly, they get stricter. More control, more pushing, more self-inflicted shame and guilt, such as, I just need to get my act together a little bit more. But regulation doesn't respond to pressure. You can't command your nervous system into safety. Safety is learned through experience, but not by force. And this is unfortunately where most training stops short. Regulation skills, they don't remove stress, but they do change your relationship to it. They allow you to enter stress intentionally, exit stress efficiently, and recover fully instead of carrying it home. This is the missing layer for a lot of disciplined people. They don't lack motivation, they don't lack mindset. Frankly, they're lacking a mechanism. And so we created Instructor School. Instructor School is built for people exactly like this. People who already know how to show up. People who already care, who already carry responsibility just like you do. At Instructor School, we don't teach people necessarily to try harder. We teach them how to recognize their physiological state and then how to influence it deliberately. And ultimately, model regulation for others. Because when leaders stay dysregulated, even with good intentions, stress spreads. When leaders are regulated, performance becomes sustainable. And note, I'm not talking just about leaders of position. You can be an informal leader no matter your rank or position within an agency. People will pay attention to you. People stay effective longer than they should. They normalize strain. They lead from depletion. And eventually, the system forces a reset. I used to wear a badge of honor that I could go 1,000 miles a minute for weeks and weeks on end, and all of a sudden my body would just shut me down for about 1.5 to 2 days. I was like, hell yeah, mission accomplished, rise and grind and do it again. But unfortunately, that leads to burnout, health issues, and emotional withdrawal. Not because they lack discipline, but because discipline was doing a job it was never designed to do. If you recognize yourself in this message, hear this clearly. You're not failing. You've just been over-relying on one skill set. Our Instructor School coming up in March is an opportunity to add what's missing. No softness, no excuses, rather capacity building. This is where discipline and regulation finally work together. And when they do, everything gets easier without getting weaker. And the best part of this is you get to learn how to teach it to others. As a certified YFFR instructor, you get to be that person internally within your agency that gets to teach a skill set to process stress, build resilience, and enhance the performance of your coworkers. It's pretty badass, quite frankly. So I hope to see you registering soon for the March Instructor School, because after this, we won't be back for a while with an in-person instructor school. Virtual instructor school is always an option, but in person, the time is near. Let's go.
Hey, before we go, I want to remind you that training your mental and physical health is incredibly important, especially for those working in high-stress jobs like first responders.
And if you're interested in learning more about yoga for first responders, visit yogaforfirstresponders.org for our on-demand training app, online course platform, in-person training, and more.
Like this podcast, subscribe, and give us a great review. We are so happy to have you part of the YFFR mission.